He comes out and the mother sees him. Now this is the same mother who is driven halfway mad, and she has not come to grips with her son going through this transformation, this metamorphosis. And she's driven into just a frenzy of crying and what have you. It upsets the father so much that he takes an apple, and he throws it at his son. And the apple gets impaled into his body. Because now his flesh has become the supple flesh of an insect. And eventually, he will die from that wound. When he dies from that wound, of this apple being stuck in him and rotting, and he can't get it out, and he eventually just comes to grips with it. And that wound actually leads to him not wanting to eat. It becomes uncomfortable to eat, but he also just loses hope. And he eventually stops eating the food that the sister would push to the door, then run away, or throw into the room and run away because she didn't want to see him. And so he doesn't eat, he dies. A house lady who the family hired to clean the house up, who had really no relation to him. She didn't really care about him, and she just disposed of his body as if it was nothing. And the oddness of the story is that when he dies, the story continues as if he didn't matter. Even in the story, as he's thinking these human thoughts in this insect's body, he's still not coming to grips with the insectness of him. He's not coming to grips with his transformation. And it's almost like this parallel story of like this, he's carrying on normal conversations. He's still thinking about how he's going to get to work. He's still thinking about his sister and her playing the violin, and he's still thinking about his mother. He's still having thoughts as if he's a human, but he still hasn't come to grips with him becoming this insect. He still hasn't come to grips with his transformation. And the story ends like that, as I'm sure most Kafka stories end. It's meant to be a mind bender. So that's one piece of transformation. Yeah, that's one. Kafka and the insect, the metamorphosis. Second piece, transformation. There's an artist here, based in Chicago. He's from Birmingham, Alabama. His name was Kerry James Marshall, but tonight he's Hadia Cole. Kerry James Marshall has a piece. Hadia Coleman has a piece. And the piece is called Heirlooms and Accessories. Well, it's called Accessories and Heirlooms. And the piece is three framed pictures. But within each one, it's all white, but in each frame is a locket hung from a chain. And in each locket, there's a picture. Pictures of three white women. Just the faces, like those old antique lockets with a face in it. And each face is looking at you. And each one is, is bejeweled, and it has rubies, and another one has this, and they're all different. And that's the piece. It's called Heirlooms and Accessories. So doing a little research, Hadia Coleman spoke about this piece for some art thing, and he began to explain it thus. It started out as a picture of a lynching in Indiana in the 20s, but a very special lynching because it was a double lynching. So it was two bodies. And lynchings back then were like this. maybe with a little bit more revelry and a little bit more joy. And so there was this black and white picture that was taken of the crowd and then the two bodies. Hadia said that while the images of the bodies was gripping, shocking, and even when you combined it with the image of the people, it was even more. But what he found more interesting was not the bodies, it was the people who had amassed to look at the bodies. And what he found even more interesting was the casualness of this, the practicality of this event. And it was smiling like me. In the crowd of people, I would say probably 100, there were 3 faces in particular that had just at the right moment had turned and looked at the camera. 3 ladies. All from different generations. So there was an older lady, an old lady, an oldest lady, or young, medium, old, small, medium, large. But a definite difference of age group with these 3 ladies. The lockets in his piece, the 3 faces are the crop faces of the 3 ladies, organized in a certain fashion where it goes from youngest to oldest. He calls them accessories to murder. He puts them in jewelry because he says that jewelry is an heirloom that you pass down from generation to generation to generation. The casualness, that's a soft word, casual. Until you apply it to the casualness of a crowd at a lynching. The mentality that they had is passed down from generation to generation. Right? That very subtle acceptance, that very subtle approval of this event. Accessories and heirlooms. Transformation. Third piece of transformation. Happy Valentine's Day. It's late, but still effective. Still works. Candy's half off at Walgreens. If you're smart, you buy the candy now. You wait till next year. No rush. Half the price. Valentine's Day. There's a restaurant. It's called White Castle. It's delicious. To my Muslim brothers and sisters, if we were in Abu Dhabi or some Middle Eastern country, it'd probably be halal. But in Chicago, they're not halal. Still delicious. We all know White Castle. It's not the finest of places to dine. Probably won't pop up on any of you all's gastronomic surveys. Won't make Top Chef. Delicious. White Castle yesterday chose to transform itself for one night and one night only, that night being Valentine's Day. White Castle closed its doors. Drive-thru was open up. Delicious. If you wanted to get into the dining room of White Castle's last night, you had to make a reservation. They had a number you had to call. You had to book a table at White Castle. When you walk, if you were lucky enough, connected enough, see what happens? Sidebar, you disrespect those managers, disrespect those people, guess what? You need a reservation. You walk into White Castle last night. The decor is all red. They put these red gels on the lights, gave a nice romantic red tint to the entire restaurant. They put the same red gel on the windows. When you looked in, all you seen was this beautiful redness. They took the White Castle burger boxes and built a little gazebo in the middle of the restaurant. They decorated it with lace, flowers. They took tablecloths, draped them over the tables and booths. Took a little candle, set it on the table, lit it. They printed up little menus